Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in. This video is for my pre-calc class, and it's a quick two example video for the law of sines. So the law of sines, as you can see right here, we have the formula A over sine A, B over sine B, C over sine C. The law of sines is used for oblique triangles, which means there's no right angle, like we were using earlier in the year for SOHCAHTOA with right triangles. Law of sines is used for oblique triangles. For the law of sines, we need two angles in any side, two sides, and an angle opposite that for side-side angle. And again, we're using these formulas here, and we will use a pair. So we will either use this pair to help solve. We will either use this pair to help solve, or we could use, again, this pair. So you need two of the three ratios in order to set up. And the math to solve is pretty much every time we are going to cross multiply and divide. So let's dive in here by setting up our first example, the angle side case. So the triangle given is angle C is 102.3, angle B is 28.7, and little b is 27.4. Find the remaining angles and sides. So one of the things I always do is draw the picture. And when we draw that, we want to make sure that we are consistent on how we draw. We just want to make sure that the opposite sides have the same letter. And so that means opposite angle A will be little a, opposite angle C will be little c, and we want to make sure that that consistency holds every time. So if we're asked to solve for all the parts, okay, one of the first things, I'll go to a new slide here with the same numbers. One of the first things we're going to do is solve for the other angle, and that's one of the easiest things to solve for. I picked a bad color there. Let's try red, see how that shows up. That's better. One of the things we're going to do is we're going to add 102.3 and 28.7, and we'll subtract that from 180 because we know there's 180 total for a triangle. So I'm going to pull up my calculator, and I will go 180 minus your 102.3 and your 28.7, which will give us 49. So we wind up with a 49-degree angle for angle A. Now, when we go to set up to solve for the other sides, we have to start with the given pair. So the pair that we were given to start with were both B's. Okay, so we're going to use that to our advantage, and that's what you want to check for every time, is like what pair was given first. So we are going to start with B over sine B, so 27.4 divided by the sine of 28.7. And let's say we're going to start with A. So we're going to try to find little a over here. So A over sine A, and A was 49. So we have B over sine B and A over sine A, and we're missing one of the variables. We are going to cross multiply and divide. So if I cross multiply, I get A times the sine of 28.7 equaling 27.4 times the sine of 49. And now I'm going to divide by the sine of 28.7 of the sine of 28.7. And therefore, I will plug this into my calculator just like this. So I'll pull up my calculator again. And I'm going to use my little fraction feature so I don't have to worry about parentheses. So alpha F1 on the TI-84. So I'm going to have 27.4 times the sine of 49 divided by the sine of 28.7. 28.7. And again, we want to make sure that we are in degree mode, which we are. And I will go ahead and hit enter, and I get 43.061. So 43.061 for side A. Then I'm going to do the exact same thing. It's very redundant when you use the law of sines. Let's go yellow. I'm going to use the pair that was given again. So 27.4 over the sine of 28.7. And now I'm going to use it for side C. So side C over the sine of 102.3. Again, cross multiplying, I'll get C times the sine of 28.7 equaling 27.4 times the sine of 102.3, and then dividing by the sine of 28.7. I will be able to plug this now in my calculator to solve for side C. So I pull my calculator back up and I make my fraction again. And I go with 27.4 times the sine of 102.3 divided by the sine of 28.7. And I will see that side C winds up being 55.747. 747. And then one of the mental checks we always do, the biggest angle should have the biggest side opposite that. So 102 was the biggest and 55 is the biggest out of that. Likewise, the smallest angle, angle B, should have the smallest side that goes with it. So that's the first example on using the law of sines. So as you can see, again, you're going to need a pair. Find the first pair that was given and then cross multiply and divide to solve your ratio. So let's look at the side angle case because we're going to add another part of with our calculator in order to solve. So I have A is 22, B is 12, angle A is 42. So I'm going to start again. I'm going to say this is A. I'll call this B. I'll call this C. So angle A, when I write in here on the blue, I got this as 42, which makes this little a, which was given as 22. Little b, opposite b there, is 12. I don't know angle B and I don't know angle C, but I am given a pair. I have both A's to start. So I'm going to start off with A over sine A, so 22 over the sine of 42 equaling, the only other piece of information I have is B, so I'm going to use B over sine B. Now I'm still going to cross multiply and divide. So when I do that, I'm going to cross multiply starting this way. So I got 22 sine B equaling 12 sine 42. I'm going to divide by 22. And now I'm going to have sine B equaling 12 sine 42 divided by 22. All right, normally we would be done, but we have to solve now for angle B. And in order to do that, to solve for angle B, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take sine inverse of both sides. So that will cancel the sine. So B will be sine inverse of 12 sine 42 all over 22. And we'll get the calculator out for that. So I'll clear this out. Remember, sine inverse is right above sine, so I'm going to go second sine inverse. I'll make my fraction again. And then I'll have 12 sine 42. And then divided by 22. Close that off, and I get my angle of 21.4. So that tells me angle B right here Angle B was 21.4. And I can get that. And then now 21.4 plus 42, subtract that from 180. So I can get now angle C, subtract that from 21.4 plus 42. And I know angle C, whoop, I did that wrong. Let's try that again. Oh, no, I did that right. 21.4 plus 42. So 116.6. So obviously this is not drawn to scale, but I got 116.6. And so the only other side to solve for is little c. And again, I will use the pair that was given. So 22 over sine 42 is equal to c over sine of 116.6. Cross multiply and divide. I'll do it all in one step here. C is going to be 22 sine of 116.6 divided by the sine of 42. And I'll go back to the calculator and I'll make my fraction. And I'll solve this for side C of 22 sine of 116.6 divided by sine of 42. And I will see that side C is 29.398. So 29.398. So there's two really fast examples of using the law of sines. So thanks for checking that out, and hopefully that helps you when you're going through your homework, and appreciate you tuning in.